And you know what? It's a little closer this time, so
right.
I guess we can talk about it.
Last week you felt like the offense kind of beats itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the deal at Houston when you look back at that game.
It's a broken record. Everybody's tired of hearing it. I'm tired of saying it. I mean, you're tired of hearing it, I know. But it is the same thing. The first quarter, I thought we really came out ready to play, and that was hard to do. I got to give the kids some credit. That was a long, weird day. I've had a couple of delays. We've had all kinds of things happen when you've been in it as long as I have. I've never had one of those days where, it was that long of a delay and nobody was giving us any good information. Nobody seemed to know what was going on. So the kids handled it well. We came out, thought we played really well in the first quarter. We should have gotten a touchdown, I thought, on the first drive. We dropped the ball. That kind of put us behind the chains a little bit. We missed a protection there on the third down throw. We got the field goal. They answered. We came back, scored. You know what I'm saying? Great drive. We go back up. They answered again. It's going to be an exciting game. That's what everybody wants to see anyhow. And then we actually have a play, and we got the post wide open. The free safety fell down. He was on his back. So nobody's on CJ, and he's throwing to CJ. We missed a block, and he got hit, and we got a fumble. Now, he gave them good field position. The momentum switched. And right now, we're not good enough to overcome that stuff. We keep making that key mistake, but we were really playing well. Didn't think we played too good in the second and third quarter. Fourth quarter, we got it going again and, scored 2 touchdowns there. I think we're in position to win the game. If I'd been a betting man, I would have bet we'd have won the game. But turnovers were the huge deal in the game. We gave them 2 good field positions right there that they turned into scores. They gave us 1 back. Which that's what it is. If you have to go 80 yards, you're not going to score very often. Alabama doesn't score going 80 yards all the time. You get those short fields, you got to capitalize. We got 1, we capitalized. We gave them 2, and that was probably the difference in the game was just those turnovers, I thought.
When you went to choosing what play you're going to run in the overtime, what were your options?
Well, they scored first play. Okay, so, we thought it was good. We're going to be on defense first. Then you'd know, do we have to get a field goal? Do we have to play for a touchdown? So we knew that was still a good part. Once we knew we had to score a touchdown, we knew we were in 4-down territory. So our thoughts were, we just given up a big score. Now let's don't just panic, and say, okay, we got to throw it to the end zone. Like we got to score the first play because that you don't get any style points. As long as you score, you tie it, and then we go to the next overtime. So we're thinking we got 4 downs. We ran a play that we've been wanting to run. We hadn't been able to get to it because we got behind. It was a run play. I think we got 4.5, 5 yards right there. So now you've got 3 downs to make like 6 yards. So we run. It's really a pass, but it looks like a run. And it's trying to get the ball in Ryan Jones's hands because I think he's a playmaker. It was a play that had worked very successfully earlier. The defense end made a pretty good play. It still should have just been like a 1-yard gain, but we fumbled the ball. And so that was the thought process was let's don't panic. Let's show confidence. Let's drive the ball. Let's get it down here. Let's get it into makeable, and then win it in the second overtime. Didn't work out that way.
Holton, I talked to him earlier about the play. I think it was the second to last drive. You guys had the ball trying to take the lead, and he had a chance to maybe run, throws across his body. I guess how frustrating are those plays, and is there any way to get him to really focus on running?
Well, I think in the quarterback room, that's probably the drive that mattered. The turnovers and all that stuff like that. But we practice 2-minute every week, and I tell you what, we're really good at it out there in practice. We go against our defense. It's a really competitive drill, and we have some tough situations. We just had a situation. We had 48 seconds and no timeouts. And we went down and scored, in practice. So, I had a lot of confidence that we'd do that. It did come down to a big third down, and he got flushed from the pocket. And if he would have, now hindsight's always 20/20. If he'd have run, I think for sure he would have made the first down. If nothing else, it'd have been really short and we would have went for it. And so that's the one he's beating himself up over. I am too. Quarterbacking is all about making decisions. It's just about making decisions. If you have the talent to do it. The problem is you can never recreate the same situation. It's always a little bit different. 11 on 11, every time is different. So, you practice, those situations come up that are similar. It's never exactly the same. And we encourage the quarterback, pull it down, you got to run it, you got to make that play. But you got to be able to do that just on that spot, that moment. So we had a very similar play today. Believe it or not, okay, maybe lucky, maybe it's something coming our way, and he pulled it down, he ran it. whatever. So we had a little mild celebration out there today, so I'm in a little better mood just because he did that. But, he played really well, minus a couple of those decisions, which it's always the deal, though, quarterback. Make better decisions.
I know specifically ball security drills are more of a camp thing than a mid-season thing, but after 3 fumbles in a week, do you go
Well, you know what? The sad part of that is we've continued to do them every Wednesday practice, as today was kind of a Wednesday practice, and we did them today, and they've been tough drills too. I mean, usually after the preseason, you just go through the motions a little bit. They've been competitive, with the defense going after it, trying to strip the ball. So we've tried to emphasize that, and I really thought that we'd done a pretty good job of that until Saturday. We did not. Now we had the fumble last week at Central Florida, a little bit too. So now we've had 2 weeks in a row. So we even amped it up more today, and that's one of those things you've got to harp on it. You got to emphasize it. You can't just get them thinking about it too much, though. But it's fundamental stuff right there. But Snead had one. He's not a big fumble guy. We hadn't had a history of that. As had Keaton, not either. Quarterback getting hit in the pocket. And the one, he was literally throwing the ball. He didn't see the guy. You get hit. That's just one of those things. He had another fumble though that was just a bad decision. He was going to try to flip the ball, and he should have just been running that one too. So Tyler, I think the guy just kind of overwhelmed him a little bit. The guy just pulled the ball on him a little bit there, so he probably had it a little bit loose. So,
from my perspective, you take the extra point in the regulation. You don't beat yourself.
Right.
Some coaches don't look at it that way. Were you at all tempted to go for 2?
Well, we had already discussed that. That's really good insight there. So Coach Houston had already said to me, "How do you feel about your 2-point play menu?" And we have a nice little 2-point play, because now with the new overtime, you really got to have a lot of 3-yard line plays, and they're not just plays; they're plays like last play of the game. So you're not going to just necessarily run quarterback sneak. Obviously, you better have something a little creative, I think. So I had a nice little menu, and I said, "Well, I feel pretty good about it." And he said, "Well, just think about it." And so then I'd gotten Houghton on the phone, and I named about 2 or 3 things, and I said, "What do you like best?" And he had told me. So my job is just to be prepared. He makes the decision. I make suggestions. You know what I'm saying? I just make suggestions. So I had my menu ready. I don't know what we would have done. I think probably we would have kicked it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. Sometimes you just got to go out there and go for it. We're playing a team that was 5-1 or 6-1 now. I don't know. I didn't see the polls, but they may be ranked now. It's a pretty good team. You had them on the road. It was already pretty late. Who knows? Maybe that was the best time that you might have a chance to win the game. When else are you going to be 3 yards away from winning? So there's a lot of things, but that's why he makes the big bucks, to make that decision. I just have my menu ready. I had some plays ready that I thought would have worked.
Because we talked about 3rd downs already this year. I know it's been a point of emphasis for you guys.
Yeah.
Is that another thing where you don't want to overthink it, or what do you feel like?
Well, I know everybody's commenting about the 3rd down deal. That's something that you can see. That's something that you can measure. I don't know. They were about as bad as we were on 3rd down. They still won the game. So I don't know how that always plays out. We have always prided ourselves in 3rd down. We practice it more, I think, than anybody. We practice it early. We practice it late. We practice it all the time. But the problem is because we analyze it every week. That's what we do. We stay here all the time, so we just studied all this stuff. And going into the game, now on 3rd medium, which we call medium, 3 to 6, we were 45%, which is actually okay. It was the 3rd and long that we were so bad at, and we were so bad at it, which we're in way too many 3rd and longs, way too many sacks this year. We have way too many sacks, we have way too many lost yardage plays. So, the emphasis was, let's stay out of 3rd and long. Going into the game, I said to y'all last week, we're going to pitch them backwards. We're going to throw the ball on 1st down. Hopefully we're going to be able to run it on 3rd. We did throw it on 1st down a lot. We didn't run it as much on 3rd down probably as I would have liked to have done it. We just weren't running the ball as well at that time, and so you make that decision. So you just but it's all just execution. We had a couple of drop balls. We had a couple of missed blocks. We had a couple of bad decisions, quarterback. So again, it'd be so easy, and I know everybody wants to just say, well, if I can just blame somebody, I'd feel better. You know what I'm saying? That's what everybody in society wants to do. We just want somebody to blame. If you could it was one person, or if it was just one play, God, it'd be so easy to fix. Wow, I wish this job was that easy. It is not. It's different people, it's different things, it's execution, and then sometimes the other team's got something to do with it. You got to remember, we were playing a good team, And the positive is we could have won that game. We could have won last week's game. Now that's the negative, is that when are we going to start winning those games? Trust me, I know that. I believe that. I feel that. But at the beginning of the year, would y'all say we were going to win Houston with that situation? Would you say we were going to win Central Florida? If we're 3-4 and we got the games we got left, probably a lot of people would have said you're doing okay. Now, nobody wants to do okay in this business. Everybody wants to do great. So luckily, we got Thursday to go get this fixed, and we got to get it fixed. And third down is a part of it, but we're not just going to all put it on third down. You know what? Like I say, when you play really good on offense, you don't get in that many third downs. You start making you make 5 or more yards on first and second down, and you don't get into third down. You know what I'm saying?
Moving to USF on Thursday, you had good success against them last year in Tampa.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that game, and how do you translate some of that into?
Well, what I remember is we were coming off what I would say, I don't give how many years now because it's too many years for me, one of the worst games ever that I'd been part of as a player or a coach down at Georgia State. That was a bad day. I know it was a day we rallied. We rallied because of some other things, and they helped us a little bit in the end in special teams. So I remember we came off a really, really devastating loss, and we played to that point the best we played, and still really pretty good, I think, overall for the whole year. So my memory, because I like to be positive, is I'm thinking we were coming off, boy, it was a devastating time in that locker room after the game. Now, there was some heartbreak in there, and sometimes you're like, I don't know if I can go on or not, you know what I'm saying? We came back and played really well. So these kids are like that. They are competitive. I don't know that I said that 2 years ago. They're competitive. They want to do well. And we had, I know that was the best practice we've had since the season started tonight. And I don't know if it was the night. I don't know if it's Halloween. I don't know what it is. But they were juiced up. They had a great attitude about it. We practiced really, really well. Normally that means you're going to play well. We practiced pretty good last week too, though. And in some ways, I guess we did play well because we took a really good football team into overtime. We just got to play better.
Now that Fernando's the number 2 center on the depth chart, I know he's starting at guard, but has he gotten to work any at center?
Yeah, we have to rotate him right now. Plus, we've had some sickness. Sean Bailey's been sick this week, and Isaiah Foote was a little sick today. They both kind of went. They just couldn't go as much. So Coach Shankwater's just really, really had to play the shell game out there. They're all having to move around. Nashad's having to play guard. He's having to play tackle. So it's a little bit like the NFL. You got about 8 or 9 guys, and they just got to all play all the positions. So, he gets snaps before the practice, gets a little bit afterwards, plays guard during practice, has to play center. So he's doing good. He's a really leader for the team right now, and I'm sure glad we got him because you got to have somebody who can do that when this happens.
Coach, you talked about the 2-minute drills.
Yeah.
Working on that. You had 2 chances at the end of the game. Coach said you didn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Is that kind of where?
Yeah, I think the one was a legit minute something, 37. That's a legit 2-minute deal. The next time they keep clock alive because they tried to go win it, and we're kind of backed up, not real backed up, but we didn't have great field position. If we threw a kind of a safe pass, try to see if we could get going. When he got to third down, he said, I think we should probably run it right here. At that point, let's don't lose the game. Let's take the overtime if we can. So we were they had 1 timeout left. They used it. We were able to get down to 37 seconds, but we got a good punter. He was able to really hit a good punt. So I think we probably just calculated, what's the chances we're going to make it on third down here? Let's don't force one. Let's don't throw a pick six. Don't give them field position. We played too good. I think even though we had 2 drives in a row we hadn't scored, we had won the second half. You know what I'm saying? It was 24-10 at half. Now it's 24-24. So we'd won the second half. So I think we still felt like we had the momentum. I think we felt like our players would take the field in overtime thinking, all right, we put the pressure on them. I know that's what I was feeling. I know it didn't work out that way, but that's what we were feeling. So that's a calculated decision by him. I think it was the right one.
Thanks, Coach.